Hey, welcome back here to another episode of the Central PA Pour. And Mr. Dave, did you do anything New Year's or did you stay at home?
I was out briefly for. I went downtown briefly for.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went in down to you were down with us at Mudhook.
At Mudhook for the catch.
Yeah, the Cherry Lane drop. So yeah, and we were all downtown. You came home.
Yeah,
I didn't even make midnight. So I came home early. I didn't even make midnight. I think Kevin and Cindy come to your house.
They came to our house and watched the ball drop.
And I was in fucking bed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Mr. Party Animal was in bed at 10 o'clock.
Hey, you can find us on all your social media platforms at Central PA Pour. Look us up on the podcast platforms, wherever you get your audio podcasts at Central PA Pour. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also look us up at centralpapour@gmail.com. And we are sitting in studio. We got another special guest, and we're happy to have him. I've been after these guys for a while, and here we are. So I am going to welcome them here and let them introduce themselves. So welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Forless, co-owner and brewer at Molly Pitcher Brewing Company.
And I am Greg Bowermaster, brewer at Molly Pitcher Brewing.
All right. So Molly Pitcher, this has been one of my favorite breweries to visit. From Carlisle. I think I was telling you, my wife was from Carlisle, and I take her up there pretty much every year for our birthday weekend, and we've got to go to Molly Pitcher. So tell us a little bit about Molly Pitcher, where they can find you, physical, email, web address. Where can they find Molly Pitcher?
Mollypitcher.com. Our physical location is at 139 West High Street. And our brewery is located at 10 East South Street in Carlisle.
Which is right next to the old cemetery.
Right next to the old cemetery where Molly's monument stands today.
Wow. And what's Molly Pitcher? Some people might not know who Molly Pitcher is.
So the name Molly Pitcher was given to many women during the Revolutionary War. The women that followed their husbands or anybody into battle, and they were carrying pitchers of water to the men to give them something to drink or to douse the cannon so they can keep firing. But our Molly Pitcher is the Molly Pitcher as far as we're concerned. She was the heroine of the bottle of Monmouth. And the story goes that her husband was manning a cannon. He felt ill. She came up and manned the cannon herself. That's where we get the lore of Molly Pitcher.
Right. And a lot of people don't know Carlisle is a huge revolutionary area. I mean, George Washington was there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the courthouse, there's still holes from cannonballs.
I believe that was Civil War cannonballs.
Civil War? Okay, yes. That was a Civil War.
I believe.
But that's cool. So how did you figure you wanted to call it Molly Pitcher?
We just wanted to represent our town that we're all from. And if you're going to do something Carlisle, it's got to be Molly Pitcher as far as we were concerned.
That's great.
Yeah, and our logo is her monument. We wanted to make sure that we couldn't do anything kind of kitschy or anything with Molly Pitcher. If we're doing Molly Pitcher, it's got to be Molly Pitcher.
And I wholeheartedly agree. So how did you get into this? I mean, what got you into this and made you want to take this leap to open a brewery?
Well, I homebrewed for about a decade or so with a former business partner who has since passed away, unfortunately. So we homebrewed together for 10 years or so, and then had an opportunity to get with two other guys, and we're able to do this. I looked at it more as a way to get out of being a manual laborer for the rest of my life. Not that this isn't manual labor itself, but
it's just fun manual labor.
Yeah, to do it for yourself is a lot easier than
do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Greg's sitting there with, hey, I'm starting to take note of that.
I've seen some brewers brewing just last week. And that looks like manual labor to me.
No, it's
it certainly is
a workout.
Yeah.
So how did Greg get into this picture?
Sam Calagione had a show on Discovery, but I was like, started home brewing, and I think I was brewing for 4 to 6 years before they got a hold of me, and when I came there, it was full ship sail.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, as far as the history of, I mean, you guys have been open since 2014?
Yeah, I believe we opened the doors in October of 2014. The business was established in 2013, but paperwork goes and townships and all that stuff. It was 2014, either September or October. I can't quite remember.
And you and I were talking before we sat down here, and my first visit was you guys. Was it where you're brewing? You said right there at the old cemetery.
Yeah. Our brewery is still located on South Street, right by the old cemetery.
And we went in, and it was just a small area, and you had the garage door open and stuff. And that was cool. Then as the progression I saw when you guys opened the tap room downtown, beautiful place. It's a and you got a second floor, but you were saying you're progressing past that yet.
Well, so when we needed to open the tap room because we were turning people away every Friday and Saturday night at the old tap room on South Street where the brewery is. So we opened up another tap room in July 2018 up on High Street. And so now we're kind of coming full circle back to this, and we're going to move everything, our whole restaurant, back to South Street where my brewery is currently located. We had an opportunity to buy the building, so we're going to take it and we're going to build out a whole new tap room down there, bigger and better than it was before.
Is there enough room there? I'm trying to picture where it's at.
We have some ability to expand.
Okay.
Closer down towards the cemetery.
Okay. You're not going to go over top of Molly Pitcher's grave, right?
No, that'll be standing there. Probably after all of us are standing. So.
Yeah. So this past year when we went up, it's the first time I actually walked that cemetery. That is fucking old.
Yeah,
There's stuff in here that's going back before the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, it's very, very old.
Have you ever been there, Dave?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
No.
You're a history buff. You like taking pictures. I definitely would say go visit Molly Pitcher and walk that cemetery. It's very intriguing to see the age of some of the tombstones there, how old that actually is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of cemeteries, you don't really pay attention to it, but I think it's pretty cool. And the Molly Pitcher, and like I said, I've come up there and I've always got to stop at Molly Pitcher every time I've been in Carlisle. I think you guys are doing great, and that's why I pursued this so much, because I wanted to feature you guys. Because Carlisle, you guys one of the oldest in Carlisle. How old who was there before you, or you were the first one in Carlisle?
Market Cross was first.
Okay,
because they have a brewery in the back, so they were first, and they opened. I think they started brewing there maybe in the early 2000s.
Okay,
and then we came, 10 years, 12 years after that.
Right. Okay, so they're older than you, but they're not a big operation.
No, they only sell on site.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my wife actually, a couple years ago, we went up and she got me a tour. So the owner took me back and she's like, "Oh, we can't do the tour without a beer." So we poured an Irish stout and she showed me her back room and we came back. She goes, "Well, you're done. We need another beer." It was a good time. So
yeah, they're great at Market Cross.
Yeah, so Market Cross and with her living here, and she's like, "Well, I just miss Carlisle. There's just so much to do in Carlisle." Oh, now downtown York's getting that way, where there's stuff to do downtown. But we live out here in the suburbs area, so there's not a whole lot out this way like this. But
yeah,
I think it's great what you guys are doing. And what made you kind of get into this, and how did you come up with some of what you wanted to brew, or was it just a trial and error?
I mean, you have to kind of stick with the times now. Like when we first started this, hazy IPAs and stuff were just kind of coming to the forefront, and they were only coming out of the Northeast.
Okay.
Like there wasn't many down here, so we have to, of course, be cognizant of what new styles are coming out, and then try to adapt them into, to our tastes.
Right.
Almost. But we always wanted to try to make somewhat more traditional beers and just do them well. We do an ESB, we do an English mild, do pale ales, IPAs, all that kind of stuff, and just not go anything too over the top with graham cracker in it and all this kind of stuff. I mean,
I know flavor adjuncts.
Yeah, I mean, I know we do a peanut butter porter that put us on the map pretty much, but we don't like to do that sort of almost gimmicky stuff if we don't have to.
Right, and that's every brewer, and I mean, has a different what they want to do. So you guys are sticking to a more traditional style, and you mentioned ESB. That's becoming one of my favorites. not a lot of
one of them.
not a lot of people do it because they say it doesn't sell because it has the word bitter in it. Is that true?
It if it's not an IPA, it doesn't really sell that great. Period anymore.
Okay.
You know, like some do here, some do there, but I mean, it flies. You know, it does great out of my tap room, but my distributors never picked up even a sixtel of ESB.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you're right when it says bitter, even though it's not. It's
One of the other guests we had on, they said it will sell if you name it a pub ale. Just change the name, but it's an ESB.
We named ours Redcoat.
And you know what? I don't know if I've had that one yet. We were up there last year. I think I had everything on tap. So if you had it on tap, I've had it, but I forgot.
And that's one of our like OG beers.
That probably had it. I just forgot it. But yeah. So Greg, as far as you say, you started with a beer kit, and was it something that you thought you'd see doing? This would be your full-time job?
No, I really just started for hobby-wise to drink cheaper. But
that's what my wife said, but it hasn't happened.
You know, I've heard that over and over and over again about I want to drink cheaper, and it turns out it doesn't happen.
It's not
homebrewing definitely did not go
true.
cheaper because then I just started building my stuff for all grain, and so then it just keeps adding up. And sure, I got 5 gallons of beer, but it wasn't really that much cheaper.
So how did this partnership come about?
We went to high school together.
Okay.
He's a couple years younger than I am, and then he would come into the brewery and bring us some of his homebrewed samples and stuff like that. I think he even did a couple batches with us whenever Zig was still alive. And then, you know, once, fortunately, Zig passed, we needed to get somebody in there rather quickly, and he was my top pick. You know,
So it's things happen for a reason, don't they?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So speaking of beer,
Yes.
I'm ready for one.
Yeah, I'm ready for one.
So what is our first beer, gentlemen, is going to be?
This is our Carlisle Lights. It's a light lager. So pretty much our take on like a Miller Lite, Coors Light.
Anything's better than them two.
But no adjunct. All grain, all hops. Delicious. I'd like to say it tastes like sunshine in summertime.
So cheers to Carlisle Lights. I do get a little bit of the malt backbone, but it's actually very good. I drink that over Miller Lite and Coors Light any day.
That was the aim for this one.
Yeah. And I can see where you guys are going after a good light drinking, ABV wise, not overly top, and just a good summer beer, really.
Yep.
Is this on tap all the time, or is this just like a seasonal, or do you just...
All the time. As soon as we put it on tap, it became one of our best sellers.
So it is a good seller for you guys.
Yeah, people still come in and say, you know, hey, what do you have that's like the Miller Lite or the Bud Light? And we set them right to that, and they have a couple pints and enjoy it every time.
Sure.
And
I can see that.
I've done that. Yeah, so with my motorcycle riding club, I said if I'm leading a ride, you know where it's going to be a brew house. Now, some places don't have other than their beer, and people will say, well, what did they're like Miller Lite or something like that? I'm like, find out what they got like in a light style beer is what you're after.
Yeah.
So some of the women like the sours or the smoothie style sours. They'll go after them. Any plans for any of them in your future?
No, not really. Whenever we introduce fruit into our beers, we usually ferment it a bit. It's not just gunky when it comes out. It's not really our taste in beer, I'd say.
And you know what? It's fine because I think Fourscore and Imprint, that's some of their big sellers, and that's what they do a lot of. I enjoy them, but not everybody enjoys it, and I can't imagine their brewing process is easy on that.
I've had some that have been good. I have some that pour out like I don't know, old sludgy oil into a glass, and that kind of just turns me off from them right away.
And you also got to go to what your clientele want.
Oh, for sure.
You know, if they don't want it, they're not gonna. They're used to brew. What is your barrel? I mean, how many barrel system you have?
7.
So no use to brew 7 barrels of beer if it doesn't sell, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of beer.
Yeah.
And how many beers can you put out brew at one time? I mean, I know it depends on how many fermenters you.
We have 9 fermenters, six or 15 barrel fermenters. We double batch into those, 3 7s, and then a 7-barrel bright tank.
Okay.
9 for me.
9, yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So a brew day is typically how long for you guys? 8 hours?
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah, we don't, and whenever we double batch, we don't do it all on the same day. Our system's not quite set up to be able to have the water that goes through our chiller recycles back into the hot liquor tank.
Okay.
So our strike temps would all be very, very off if we want to try to go and do it again. So we'll do a 7-barrel batch and pitch yeast just like regular on day 1, let's say Wednesday. Do the same exact beer Thursday, stick it right back into the already fermenting wort.
Okay. That's interesting because I've heard several of our guests talk about double batching and stuff like that, and I just didn't understand a double batch, and I do now.
Well, and some guys are able to do it and all in one day. So they'll come in there and do like a 12, 14-hour day. We're just not set up for that.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's a long,
and we're fine not being there for 14, 15 hours.
and if it's anything like our couple brew days, that's a lot of beer you're drinking. I think the first one we brewed out of that, it's a kit. And when we went to bottle it, I don't remember them. Thank God I cleaned my equipment up because I was in bed pretty quick. To the point where I think I was grabbing the trash can next to me. So it was pretty fun day. Now, my wife did get me a Brewzilla, so all grain, all in one 5-gallon system, which is what I was asking.
Oh,
for,
nice.
So,
But she had asked me about what kind of fermenter to get. I told her, I said, well, you don't have the room for it.
so when you went to, no, we'll put it in your garage then.
Yeah, right. You can't put anything in my garage.
So when you went to set your brewery up, did you do some research? Did you have help? I'm just curious of how, you go from home brewing, you want to start your business. How do you know how to set it up?
Well, the system that we bought it from, that company was very, very helpful. They gave certain options for things. They came in and gave us like a floor plan layout and things like that. Because I didn't know much of anything. And at that point, I was working full time as well, so I wasn't there for the initial setups for this stuff. 2 of my other business partners were there doing that stuff, both no longer with the company, but they were handling that stuff more.
So you're mentioning partners. Are you sole owner now, or do you have another partner?
I have one other partner. There were originally 4 of us that started.
Okay.
Just me and one other person are there.
Okay. That's good. And I just find it interesting with this equipment. Because some of our guests have, they started from nothing. And it was just out of curiosity because I've joked with Dave and Kevin about this. There's an old grocery store down the street here that was a hell of a freaking brew pub. My wife's like, no, don't get no ideas. Truthfully, I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my own business, and it's just I don't know. Like we had Derek Wolf on. I don't know how he's handling a full-time job and doing this full-time. That's way too much. So, do you find this enjoyable?
Yeah.
Greg, yeah. This is fun.
I mean, some days are trash, just like anything. But you get a stuck mash or something, you got to figure it out, or stupid stuff like that happens. But it's all
Those are every now and then.
yeah, it's all just for worst case scenario. You go to the cooler, grab a beer, and take 5 minutes.
Take 5 minutes. Instead of a smoke break, it's a beer break.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I see you guys like some sports.
Yes.
You're in. Who's in the? Which one of you is into the soccer?
That's me.
You.
Yes.
Our last guest, Ben Klein from the Beer Thrillers blog. He's into soccer. So did you watch any of the World Cup?
Oh, every single match I could see.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I was. Yep, had it on my phone. If I wasn't in front of a television. Yep, every single thing.
Now, how did soccer get into you? Did you play it when you were younger?
Yeah, my father played most of his life as well, and then I started out, and everybody, myself, both my sisters, we all played growing up.
That's awesome. You never saw a future in that?
No, I've never had the stamina, I guess, to run like that, or the drive to get to that point, I guess.
Yeah, I think I joked with him. I said, "Yeah, there's no way I'm going to do soccer within. If I'm doing a 30-yard sprint, I'm falling down asking for beer and oxygen." So,
yeah.
But I think that's cool. I mean, soccer is huge. I think the U.S. men's team made a pretty good statement. for a young team.
Yeah, they did well.
You said that you watched most of the games and you're up on it. How did they stack up against the European teams? I was just kind of curious because they. The reason I'm asking the reason I'm asking that is because I followed some of it in the news in some of the commentators on it, and they were talking about how well that the American teams were doing, and then they got to a point where I would listen to the commentators, and they would all agree that, okay, well, they're at the wall now because they're up against, these European teams, and they don't have a chance. And I was kind of like, well, there goes my interest because,
I think we did pretty much as well as the U.S. should have this World Cup.
Because they didn't make it the last time, right? They didn't even make the World Cup the last time.
Yeah. 4 years ago, they weren't even in it.
So and they said this is like a very young team, and one of the guys is from the Harrisburg area, wasn't he?
Hershey, yeah.
Hershey.
Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think, I don't watch it. I watch it every time the Olympics are on. It's about and I'm only looking for the scores to see if the U.S. men's won or the U.S. women's won.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of sports other than baseball. I don't watch a lot of that.
Yeah, you talk about the Olympics. It's just a quick note here is that we watched the Olympics, and I watched water polo. I don't know if anyone else. I watched that, and I was never so confused in my life on anything, never knowing what's going on, just people swimming up and down, and you hear whistles all the time. Now, I watch football, and when the whistle goes off, everybody stops because it plays over. Now, there's whistles all the time in water polo. Do you understand it?
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
I was just curious as someone who follows soccer
I'm not sure I've ever watched a water polo match in my life, to be honest with you.
I watch curling, but I mentioned why I watch curling. The women.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
That'd be a real fun game to have a beer in your hand and do, right?
Oh my God. Have you ever watched that
It's
something that was
it's called Bart. Yeah, it's
Barmageddon.
Yeah.
It's,
no, I don't think
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton from The Voice.
And who's the other host? And then one female,
Carson Daly.
And then one of the female wrestlers. And they bring in like celebrities and they do bar games. And they had this one, it was keg curling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They had kegs on wheels with like a push broom, and it was just like curling. They had a thing with the rings, and I was like, oh shit, that'd be a hell of a good game.
We do that on whenever we're putting sixtels away.
Yeah.
You do?
Slide them to each other.
Now you're
that's
gonna have,
kinda cool.
I could see when you go up there. Now you're gonna have like a red dot, or the white ring, the blue ring for points. So I think, and you like LSU football. You said
Yes.
How'd you get into LSU football?
Sort of married into it.
You married
I never really
into it.
became into a big fan until I went down, and the tailgating is blows
Tailgating.
everything out the water.
There's nothing like tailgating at a college game.
Especially the South. South was some crazy tail.
We get into a lot of arguments here. He's Pitt. I love Penn State. Never went to college, but I love Penn State. Bleed and die with them, but they had a good season this year.
Yeah.
They went to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, and they won.
Yeah.
I held my breath until that 0-0-0 ticked up because it's just Penn State.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
you were worried?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Had Sean Clifford as a quarterback. Fucking right, I'm going to worry.
Yeah.
All 27 years young of him or whatever.
7-year college athlete.
Yeah, I've seen that. Oh, look how old Pickett was when he got out of college. The thing is that the only thing I hold back on the today, because this didn't happen so much before, but today you're running into a lot of the bowl games. The stars sit out, and I'm kind of like disappointed because of the fact that you follow the game, you follow these guys all the way through, and they're the ones you're looking for, and then whenever the bowl game comes around, their names are missing, and that's kind of disappointing.
That all came about because of the name likeness or whatever that.
The NILs or whatever. Yeah.
Just, Everybody's there after the coin.
And super
that's it.
super
Yeah.
conferences are going to be a thing now. I mean, Big Ten's about to get USC and UCLA in the
Yeah.
next 2 years.
It's only going to come down to a couple conferences.
Do you think
and
they're
that's
going to actually travel all the way to the East Coast to play most of their games? Or are they just going to be playing Purdue at the farthest across?
It'll be like the ACC. It'll be Coastal and Atlantic. I mean, they'll just split it up to side of the.
Yeah, so you're SEC. Yep. And Georgia put on a pretty good showing in that bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping Michigan would have made it, even though I don't like the blue. And ECU, I mean, they beat Michigan fair and square.
Yeah, that game wasn't as much as what I was expecting it to be.
What, the
Sure.
championship game?
Yeah.
That was
That was
a
over at the first quarter.
Yeah,
that was a
terrible.
disappointment. It was, and it's a shame about that defensive tackle. Was it? No, wasn't it? Was it a tackle or an offensive tackle?
Oh, from the car accident.
From the car accident, man. I heard
I
about
missed
that. And that just, I'm just like, holy cow. How bad can your luck get?
Yeah, for sure.
But that game was, it was funny because, well, it wasn't funny, but I mean, it was just, disappointing because you kind of like expect it to go down to the wire, because you want to see a good game. And that game, like somebody said that game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was gone. And I even actually watched the game. I don't usually watch the championship games, but I watched this one because I kind of I like the all 22 camera. And it's sort of like that they're bringing that back. ESPN's brought that back on a few games. The all 22 cameras is what set one camera up. Those all 22 players on the field, and you just hear the stadium announcers. You don't hear any sports announcers, no color, just the stadium announcer. This is almost like you're sitting at the game. Because my wife will tell you, and sometimes I'll sit there and I'll watch a football game with the sound off. Just watch the game. She says, how do you know what's going on? And I said, it's just like sitting at the game, You want to know what the penalty was? Watch the ref. He'll tell you. You don't have to listen to him. He has hand signals, just learn them.
I thought you were just reminiscing of the day you were on the field.
Oh, here we go.
Dave was with the band.
Yeah, I was in a band. I was at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I went to, a lot of the games. And go ahead.
No,
I'll
keep my mouth shut.
You don't have to keep your mouth shut. I'm just,
So, what other sports you guys like? I mean, anything else? I mean, we're in playoff season right now with the football.
Go Birds.
Eagles.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch football. Ben wanted to put a social media post out on our Facebook stuff about Super Bowl predictions, and he's got me sitting there going like this. I don't watch football. So, what about you?
Golf, really.
Golf?
Yep, and that's really my son, not me. I'm terrible at it, but trying to get better.
There's one thing about golf that I do know, which I don't like golf either because I suck at it, but I can drive that cart and I can drink beer while I'm doing it. That's the most important part. So.
You'd love night golf.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
You've never done night
Nope.
golf. You'd love night golf because that is mostly drinking beer.
I know Kevin's been after you to go golf and you haven't done it.
Well, the whole thing, Kevin wants me to go golfing, and I'm so out of shape from golf that I told Kevin, I said, I'd have to spend a season just getting my swing back,
I'm still trying to do that, and I've been doing it for like the past 3 years, trying to keep up with my son.
Oh.
And my son's 10, and he kicks my.
Okay.
You may have a future there. You may not be brewing too long if he does make the pros.
I kept telling him, you should name him Pension or something like that.
So getting back to beer, when you guys decided this, I mean, are you picking styles when you first wanted to brew to see what you guys wanted to do, and found out what your customers wanted, or how do you? Some of your favorite styles, is that what you wanted to go into this at?
We always wanted to make sure that anybody that walked in the tap room could find a beer they liked.
A selection.
Yeah, whether, when we first started out, I think we only had 8 taps, then we jumped to like a 10 tap head. So we always tried to, something from, we didn't have our Carlisle lights at that point, but our Kolsch, Cannonball Kolsch was probably our lightest option. And then we'd go up through that.
Okay.
You know, everything from light Kolsch to our double, common sense double IPA. Get something in there for every single person. And I think you should have a stout on for people that want a stout. You go to plenty, not just even breweries, but plenty of bars, and the only stout you see is a Guinness, which nothing wrong with a Guinness, but give me a little more options here of another kind of stout.
Right.
So we always wanted to make sure anybody could walk in the door, find something they'd be happy with, sit down and have a pint or two.
And what are some of your favorites?
That I personally brew?
Now that you personally like.
I still like some of like the older kind of stuff, like the Sierra Nevadas, their pale ales and torpedoes, that sort of stuff. Some Founders all day, just normal old stuff like that. I don't usually go too far out.
Okay.
And then of course, we drink a lot of our
Your
own product. So
Of course, it's cheaper.
yeah.
And what about you, Greg?
Uh,
Do you run the gambit, or you stick to like one style when you're looking for a beer?
I don't know. It's hard. I drink a lot of art at the house. I mean, honestly, in my fridge, I usually have like a Bud Heavy, like always rack sitting ready to go. That's cold. That's like my go-to. Like if I'm just wanting to drink something sort of not craft,
Okay.
I'll just
Going
Nice
back to
little-
old school Budweiser.
Yep.
Huh? That's one beer I never could really get to. I mean, always gave me a headache. No matter which Bud product it was, I'd get a freaking headache. I don't know if it was drinking too much or it was just the beer.
Yeah.
that's Coors Light for me. I can't even drink one. I'll get a headache.
That's Coors Light water.
I'm not a big fan. My brother-in-law, he used to drink it case. I tell you, I have stories there. But anyway, I would Budweiser. I could drink a can of it. After that, I'm done with it.
Yeah, usually I only have
Yeah.
like two. It's like that one where it's like, I need something to drink, but or anything like that. It's like, go to the old trusty.
I checked the Bud Light in this summer, and the tag was, well, this is what you got to do when you got to clean the fridge out for make room for good beer. So, somebody left it in my fridge. I had to check it in. So you had talked about your expansion, and you talked in your questionnaire here. You like to get more into doing lagers. So you're not lagering right now, or are you?
No, we are. I mean,
Okay.
our Carlisle Lights we just had, that's
That's
a lager.
true lager style.
A true lager. We did an Oktoberfest this past year. Well, we've done it a few times. But we called it a Carlisle Crimson. That was
Okay. I missed that one, so
Yeah.
I'll have to.
we actually one of our customers named that for us because it was like a nice red lager, ambery kind of.
And there's one behind you
England.
from Dogfish Head that I saw was Crimson Crew this year.
Oh,
It was actually
Me
pretty
too.
good, but it was a red ale.
yeah.
So and they no, go on. I didn't mean it, but I just saw you would like to get more into lagering, I guess.
Yeah, it just the tank time.
Okay.
That's like the tricky part when you have to trying to juggle tanks around. But I mean, we're Pennsylvania. This is a lager state. I
Yeah, it
mean,
is.
Yingling will always be there.
Yeah, and that was always one of my go-tos. Sam Adams, Boston was one of my go-tos. And I mean, I've bought Yingling here recently.
Not the same.
It's not the same.
Really?
After drinking this kind of stuff, it tastes like a light beer to me.
It's a little too sweet sometimes, I feel like.
And it's not it, and it's if I'm going to go somewhere and I don't want to spend a ton of money, I'm going to go buy a mass-produced case, $25 or under.
Mm-hmm.
I just came back from heavy seas, and I spent $85 on four packs. So it's nothing for me to go in here to Westgate and spend $100 on not even a case of beer. So, but I think lagers are, and you said this is a lagering state, and I think you need to go after that. What your clientele want.
Yeah.
You said a lot of them are liking the IPAs.
Yeah, that's still, I think if you talk to any, brewery taproom, IPAs are still the biggest sellers across the board.
And hazy is what the old New England style they used to call it, New England East
Yeah.
Coast.
Yeah, yep.
Speaking of beer, we have a hazy up next, right?
Yeah, we do.
So what is this one here, guys?
Billy Hayes.
This is
Rick, you
our
take that one.
Billy Hayes. Our take on New England. It's taking us a lot of renditions to get where we're at now, but we're finally hitting the ticket and it's drinking pretty good.
So this is a hazy IPA.
Yep.
So cheers to the Billy Hayes. So this is a New England IPA.
Yes, sir.
What have you put in this? I mean, I got the brewer's notes. I'm getting a little of a pine grapefruit note at the very end. Is that some of the hops in that?
Warriors in at Port, and then it's Citra, Mosaic, Eldorado.
Some of the
Throughout the
typical
bowls. Yep.
typical IPA stuff.
Yep.
It's good. Don't get me wrong, but I do get a little bit of that, of like a pine or grapefruit at the end.
Definitely.
And that's the nice thing
Yeah,
with this, where
definitely.
it's like it's a little different than most of the New Englands that are out there, where it like sort of still has a slight bitterness and finishes off rather than just sort of like coating the mouth and just sitting there. So it's like it's sort of like goes and just.
It's a good drinking beer. Don't get me wrong. Dave, this is right up your alley. He loves IPA.
I have nothing to say.
I don't even know if these two guys are friends. To be honest with you.
No, it's a good beer. So
It's good. I will say that it's good. IPAs are not my cup of tea, and you know.
We brought you two of them. Assholes.
I'm good with it though.
it's actually good. But if you're not expecting, like when people look at a hazy, they're looking for more of a juicy and just like almost like drinking juice. And I think that's where some of the hazies have gotten away from what a true style New England was. It's a little bit smoother than a West Coast, if I'm right, because West Coast real bitter, real piney.
You'll have that next.
But with the New England, it was a lot less than that. But hazies kind of take it and really made it really juicy.
And all the ones that we've had, like once you drink so many of them, they all kind of
start tasting
the same. Yep. And we personally don't like a beer that doesn't finish. Yep. Like this beer, it kind of crisp and on the back end, even though it is a hazy beer, it still wants you to take another sip.
Yep. And it's that dryness of the bitterness. It's like, okay, I need.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we were shooting for. And like he said earlier, it took us quite a bit to get this where we wanted it. But now we're pretty damn close, I'd say.
Yeah. Now, do you guys do like a series, like a trial series, like some people call them a garage series or a silo series, like Irina does? Everybody has something like their trial and base.
We have an R&D series now.
R&D series,
yep.
Okay.
And if those go well for us, then we name them something and then bring them back on tap.
Okay. And how does that go about? You just kind of like come up with a recipe and say, I want to do something different this time, or?
Sometimes you just have stupid ideas, and then you bounce them off your brew partner, and sometimes you make it work.
And how many? I mean, not everyone is a hit, right?
No, not a hit, but they all sell well enough. Like, some of them we're not going to bring back. You know, that just because they didn't go nearly as quick as we wanted to. Some people really enjoyed them, but not enough people really enjoyed them.
And I think when there are brewers that do these kind of series, your clientele clamor for them. They're like, "Oh, there's the release coming out. I'm coming to the brewery to get it."
Yeah, it's another reason to get somebody in the door. Just as in like a sandwich special or something like that.
It's a marketing
kind of
skill. It's awesome.
No doubt about it.
So, I mean, this is pretty good. I'm going for an own.
Go right ahead.
Dave, you're not leaving. You finish that crowler.
What, the crowler? No, wait. I'll tell you what. I am going to finish one of those crowlers over there, and I have it set in there so I can see where it's at.
Is that our last one?
That's our last one.
Oh, my.
We had all kinds of other dark options on tap right now that we could have brought for you guys.
But you know what that means. It means
we just have to come down and
we got to make a trip to Molly Pitcher.
All there is to it.
And I'll be back up here again. So tell us again where they can find you guys on social. You got social media platforms that you post up a lot.
Yeah, Instagram. I'm at mollypitcher.brewery.com. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Don't worry, I got you covered. They're on the screen.
Okay, good, because I'm not.
They're on the screen.
Yeah.
So we were just before we sat down here, we were talking about the Untappd.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. We check our beers in, and it's a kind of like a Boy Scout club. Hey, I got a new badge, man. Check that out.
I was in the Boy Scouts. I don't ever remember Chicken and beers.
You didn't get that badge?
No, maybe that's one of the ones I should have gotten. Yeah.
But so some brewers hate Untappd, some do, some don't. And the reason I ask this is because I've noticed after I'll check a beer in, I'll get the brewery to toast it or comment back on it. Do you guys pay attention to that or not?
We'll look at it, read everything.
Okay.
No, we won't write anything back to customer or anything
Okay.
like that. If somebody has a bad opinion of my beer, well, that's their opinion. We're going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go on there and say, well, what could I do next time to fix this? That's not that's not what Untappd is for.
No, and I think it's become another social media app.
Yeah.
It's like a, what do they want to call that? Like gathering place. And I know people go on there and they'll just berate your beer. Whether they drank it or not, it's kind of like a Google review.
Yep.
Somebody can leave you a Google review and they've never been in your freaking building.
Yeah. My favorites are always like, oh, I only gave this 1 star because it's not my style. Well, why'd you get it in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, that's not.
We've heard that plenty of times. And when we rate a beer, and our scores anywhere from the lowest have been like 3.25. Now our 5s, I don't think I've ever rated a beer 5 yet, but
Well, it's like getting a 10, like we were talking Olympics. Like you don't give the gymnast a 10 because then
they
you
look
never,
hot.
never give a 10 again, you know?
No, you. I could see him being a judge at the Olympics. Has nothing to do with technique.
I've given 10s at 2.
10s at 2?
Yeah, 2 a.m. They're 10s.
Oh.
And in the morning, they're back to 2.
They're okay, I understand.
You understand that one?
Yeah, I understand
Okay.
that one, yeah.
But
The more you drink, the better she looks. That's it.
but when we get to a beer, and if we don't rate it extremely high, we'll explain. Good beer, but not my style. And it's not that we hate it. It's just what. But I'm not going to give you a 1 star just because, hey, it's not my style. I didn't like this. Then why the hell did you fucking drink it?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And even if you're going to drink it, don't check it in.
Yep.
Let it alone.
If you don't like lima beans, you're not ordering lima beans, are you? You know,
That's exactly right.
really?
I mean, if you don't like something, you're not going to, give me a double order of that. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and when I go to a brew pub, whether it's first time or I've been there several times, I'm getting a flight. I think when I was up there last time, I think I tried every freaking one of your taps that day, between the weekend we were there. Like my wife says, what are we gonna do today? I'm like, go back to Molly Pitcher.
I got 10 more beers I got to try, huh?
Yeah, I got more beer to try. And I love your. Where'd you come up with the idea for the musket as your tap handles?
Oh, just Revolutionary War, man. We wanted to keep with that kind of theme with things. Like even some of the beer or names that we have of beers were all Revolutionary War and
Yeah, and I noticed that, like they go Red Rider or the Cannonball and stuff like that. So, did a local artist make them, or did you find them somewhere else? Or?
oh no, they're manufactured by a company out of Italy.
Okay.
So we just like JB welded stuff into it so it could turn into a tap handle.
I think that's cool as crap, man. That you got that, and I'll have some pictures on here floating through the episode.
Other bars didn't when we first started doing distribution. Other bars didn't like them because they're real top heavy. So
Okay.
they pour a beer and then put it up. Next thing you know, they got beers pouring all over the floor.
The tap didn't shut off.
Yeah, it just fell right back open again.
It's
So-
like my kegerator upstairs. I got the big old Yingling lager one on it, and if you don't have it right, it's just gonna fall forward. Of course, I have a problem just keeping it non-aerated and not over-carbonating the beer when it's coming out of the tap. I've had a problem with it. We're gonna fix that because I'm getting rid of it. I'm going when we start brewing our all grain stuff. We're going to Sixtals, and we're gonna have our own kegerator with our beer in it.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
And it's still not going to be cheaper because I'm still going to have to go in and buy other beer.
That's true.
So I think it's great what you guys are doing. And anything else that you guys got like coming up? Any events that you guys do at your brewery to look at your current location, not the new one that's coming up, but at your current location? Do you guys do like special events, stuff like that?
We do trivia every Sunday.
Okay.
Not much else going on right now, I don't believe. It's like we talked earlier with staff and
Right.
stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to get all kinds of other things going on right now. I mean, we have, there's some private event bookings for our upstairs place of either birthday parties or stuff like that, but nothing real crazy going on.
And when
in
the
the short
summer
term.
when the summer comes around, you got like an outdoor patio area. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have an outdoor patio, and then just within the past, well, I guess like since COVID, right?
Yeah.
Carlisle lifted the open container ordinance. So you can get a plastic pint of beer and walk around town.
Oh,
As long as you stay in the C1 district, which is mainly the
Downtown.
brunt of downtown Carlisle. So in our parking lot, we have 6 real big picnic tables that we set out there, and it becomes like our off-site beer garden. So walk in, grab a pint, pay for it, walk back there, sit down, order a pizza from the shop next door if you'd like to, and bring it out there and eat and have fun. We have people that bring their guitars and play music out back sometimes. Had some college kids throwing frisbee around the parking lot.
you say you got a college up there that's real close.
I got it. Dickinson's like half a block away.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you get a lot of influx from Dickinson?
We get a lot of professors.
Okay.
I think we get a lot of law students. Now, the normal, freshman to senior college kid isn't going there paying.
They're gonna go up to like the Hanover Grill or something like
or
that.
the G-Man, where you can still
The
get a
G-Man.
The
pitcher of beer
liberal
for
arts students.
$5 or whatever. Yeah, I think we're priced ourselves out a little bit for some college kids,
It's all right.
but yeah, I mean,
Not your clientele.
yeah, and we still get them in there. We still do, but it's not nearly. I think what we thought it might have been. Dickinson's also not your average college. I don't think it's a private school. It's not like, yeah.
Sorry, did I just do that on camera?
Yes, you did. You had the War College up there too, right?
We do have the War College,
Yes.
yes, and we get a lot of those guys in there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
Yeah.
about the War College.
Yep.
Yeah, people.
That's a pretty interesting place to at least go walk around the museum over there.
Yeah. Now you said that as long as you stay in the C1 area. Now is that painted on the sidewalk so that you can,
No.
or if you wander past the fence, or,
There's gonna be cops jumping out of trees.
Yeah.
And stuff at you. No, it's not.
guys repelling down out of helicopters. Oh, we got one.
No, I'm not even sure where the C1 district actually starts and stops, but I just thought I would say that so that I'm promoting that.
Protect called CYA.
Yeah.
So speaking of, you got your tap room. Do you? I know you got food because I've had it.
Yep.
Do you have a chef, or is it? Where did that come from? That's something you always wanted to add into what you guys were doing.
Well, so whenever we were on originally our tap room, we had paninis, like 2 crock pots and a hot dog roller.
Okay.
So as you expand, you need to have a little bit better food service.
Right.
So that kind of just. And you laugh, but man, we did a real good job.
The hot dog roller just got me.
A hot dog roller, panini press, like a crock pot. One had chili in it for nachos. One had pulled pork in it, and we did a killing off that junky little food.
I'm telling you what.
I miss those paninis.
If you got and that's how, like we had mentioned about Brooks Haymauer with his current condition with the house. But before he got into this food truck thing, that's what he had. He had a panini press.
Yeah.
And I agree. You kind of, some of the brew pubs that I've gone, nothing but their beer. You got no food option.
Yeah.
Maybe a bag of chips or
Right.
He had cereal.
Or at Liquid Hero, they had a prop dog for COVID.
Yeah, they had a prop dog there. But
So,
Haymar didn't Haymar have cereal?
Yeah, he had cereal.
He had cereal on there. You could buy a bowl of cereal.
Which goes great with a double IPA, right?
But I mean, and you'll find it, like, I don't mind visiting those, but the average customer's not going to go to a place they can't get food.
Yeah.
And I think that's kudos to what you guys and everybody else have thought about. We need to bring a food option. You want to keep them in your tap room as long as possible.
Yep. Asses in seats drinking beer is where the money's at.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and if you don't keep them there, like me, if I go to a place, I'm going to do a flight. If they don't got food, I'm out of there and going to the next place.
yeah.
So you want to try and keep them there as long as it's general business sense. Now, not everybody wants to do a kitchen because
It's a real pain in the ass.
now you're getting the federal FDA in it and everything else and all these other stipulations. I won't know if I'd want to do. That's why I said I have that idea, but I don't think I'll ever pursue that brew pub.
Oh,
I ain't got time for that.
You can get a food truck.
Food truck? Yeah.
Just call them in. Yeah. Carlisle does not allow food trucks.
Oh, they do not.
They
don't?
do not. No. So I mean, I would imagine our business plan would be completely different. I could have food trucks.
News to me.
Yeah, they don't allow food trucks downtown.
Interesting. It's interesting.
They'd rather have the crock pot and the hot dog roller. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Now, you had mentioned distribution. Now, I know down here at DJ's Westgate, I can find some of your. Do you do distribute to? Is there certain areas you only can distribute to with with license and stuff, or do you pick and choose where you want to?
Well, we have distributors.
Okay.
That come pick up our beer and then take it places. So we're everywhere. The distribution area is like everywhere from here, leave down to Philly, up towards Allentown, and we haven't went anywhere out west too far. But everywhere, from Carlisle down south towards Philly, up towards Allentown, you may be able to find us in that area.
Okay. What about like restaurants, stuff like that? Do they also get your product to keep in their places as well to help you out?
Yep. We do wholesale kegs and sixtels and halves.
Do you find that like helps your business model as far as, somebody getting it from far away, maybe it'll come into the area? Have you ever researched that and found out any of that or not?
I don't think it helps at all.
Okay.
To be honest with you. Yeah, not really.
And we were talking a little bit. You don't have a canning line yourself, so you're bringing a third party into this.
Yeah. We use Ironheart Canning. They're absolutely fantastic. Great crews. Everybody that we've dealt with. We're positioned at a good spot in Carlisle because we can either use. They have a King of Prussia location and they have a Baltimore location. So at any given time, one of those lines is usually open for us to be able to schedule. They come in. We have our beer cold and carved. They roll everything off their truck.
Wow.
They roll a canning line, a labeler, a decal, a twist rinse, everything but the cans themselves. They ship to me about 4 or 5 days before. They do a great job.
And they have a labeler and stuff on them as well?
Yep. We get the labels ourselves, and then they bring the labeler in. So you walk in, it's decal, twist rinse, canning line, labeler, and me and Greg are there to pack out, put shit on kegs on skids and get it out of there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting thing to videotape.
The video. Yeah.
That'd be cool as crap to video.
It's pretty crazy.
We're doing it next Wednesday if you want
Dave,
to make it down.
Dave, you're going to go up and record that next Wednesday. You're retired. You ain't got a fucking thing to do.
Wait a minute. Now,
I'll give you a hot dog off the roller. Don't worry about it.
It was some chili out of the crock pot.
Yummy. Now, next Wednesday. Now, does that mean the day after tomorrow?
Oh, here we go.
Or does that mean
next week, the 25th, next week?
See?
So you go to the same school that he went to, where next is not next. It's actually the one after the next, right?
We're going down this rabbit hole again.
Wait a minute. What day is today?
Monday.
Oh, yeah, so it's next.
It's not this Wednesday. It's next Wednesday. We've been down this
It's
hole.
not this next Wednesday. It's the next Wednesday.
Yeah, because in 2 days it's this Wednesday.
Yeah.
And next Wednesday, that's the proper thing.
See, if you'd have went to any other college but Pitt, you may understand it.
Yeah, really. Where else would I go? Penn State. I mean,
they're gonna hunt you down around here. You keep talking like that.
I don't know. I've been down here long enough wearing my Pitt paraphernalia that people know where I come from.
And you still don't understand.
Yeah. I could have gone to Penn State, but I chose to go to the University of Pittsburgh.
A better rocket science, but I decided to do beers,
I could have went to college, but I raised my right hand with Uncle Sam. So.
Hey, he wanted me too, but actually he didn't want me.
He didn't want you?
He didn't want me. Actually, he drafted my ass.
He heard you were in a fucking band.
He drafted me, and I was in school at the time. I was at Pitt doing it. He drafted me right out of chem class. I was standing right there, and the gentleman came in, lifted me up, and took me. No, I'm serious. But no, they didn't. At the end, they didn't want me. And it was one of those things where you ever try to flunk a test? Put the headphones on and you listen to the sound and the tone to tell you for the hearing test, and it gets so loud that you gotta say it's this one.
Oh my. Boy, that just took a side turn, didn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of side turns, I know side pulls have been a big thing in this craft industry. Some of the Czech Pilsners, stuff like that. Is that anything you guys have ever looked into? Like,
side pulls?
Yeah, where they're side pulling the taps for like milk pours and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Don't look
Do you
at
know
me
what
for
that
the
is?
explanation because
Actually,
I've heard this.
Are you talking about like a nitro tap? Like you can
Well,
like
no,
froth it?
it's an old school side pull.
if I recall, Wolf has one down there.
Yes.
He's got two.
Is that
Yes.
for like those overcarbonated Italian?
Yeah, they're doing
Pilsners
like
and stuff.
milk pours and stuff like that, and you only can really do it with certain styles. So,
Yeah,
like the Czech styles, I think are the biggest ones they do.
Yeah, I've never had
like
one.
when they take a Heineken and cut the top off with a knife.
Yep.
In the commercial and stuff. Is
Yep.
that what that is?
Well, if you've ever watched the milk pours, it's all foam. It's kind of like when I pour beer out of my kegerator. It's all foam and a little bit, and you got to wait until the beer starts to build up and the foam goes down.
and why do you do that?
I don't know. I've never had a milk pour.
Whenever I come over to his house,
I've had a
and
milk
pull it-
stout.
pull it-
Well,
if I
milk
get-
pour doesn't.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a thing, but that's why I just thought I'd ask.
Nope, no idea.
when you
I may
when-
have just given you some new ideas. Greg's over there. I saw his wheels turning, man.
So I'm pulling the tap sideways. I don't even understand what's happening here.
It's an old style tap, like off the barrel, an old style barrel tap. They call them side pulls. Look them up. I'll send you some info, man.
Yeah, that'd be
Next
great.
thing you know, we're going to see that. We're going to go up to Melly Pitcher, and instead of the musket sitting like that, it's going to be sitting like that. Bam!
I have
I'm going
a
to shoot you.
I have a beer engine. Is that the same thing?
I don't know. We'll figure it out, man. We'll come up with some interesting stuff. Greg, I think you said you were a welder at one time. Did you go to school for that? Was it a trade?
I did some classes. It's really just weld for a hobby. Whenever I was taking those, and then I was working in a machine shop before they picked me up, and I became the welder down there.
That's a lost trade. I mean, not a lot of people are doing that.
That's for sure. And then I've been grateful to where I'm able to keep doing it in my garage right now.
So you got kind of a 2-for-1. You got a maintenance man and a brewer.
Yeah.
So, hey, Greg.
And he's a pretty decent guy too.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
Greg, that thing over there is kind of broke. Can you fix that?
He
They're
certainly
good
has.
people to
He
have in your
certainly
Oh, we've,
has.
we fixed a handful of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to bring people in that will solidify your team. And that's what it's all about. It's making a team atmosphere. I just went through some leadership training and trying to figure out what can I do better as a leader to make my business people where they want to come. And one of the quotes I got out of that, train them as if they're going to leave. Treat them so that they never will. The quote. It's always interesting to hear that. And I'd like to be that spot in the automotive industry that I need to be the spot where everybody wants to come, where I got people always just putting applications even though I'm not hiring.
Yeah.
So it's kudos to you guys. I mean, you're doing something right. And you got some great people, it sounds like, and you're looking for more.
Always. Yeah. Not so much at the brewery side because we get that pretty much taken
No,
care
you may have to go down there to Dickinson and put up, say, hey, hot waitresses looking for a job.
We don't need the waitresses. We need kitchen staff.
Kitchen
Anybody that wants to cook, come see us.
Now, do you have a chef or is it just a line, whoever can work?
No, we originally started, we had a chef. That didn't work out. He was no longer with us. A lot of the menu items that he had made and, the sauces and things of that nature are still there.
And you're just people that come in and make that stuff up.
Well, yeah, and I have my older sister works in the kitchen. We got another guy named Brooks that works in there too. Brooks is kind of the head right now, and my sister Melissa is like second in command, and they do a fantastic job. But there's only two of them. Being open Tuesday through Sunday.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm up there 3 days a week now too.
You getting
working in
some
the kitchen.
culinary experience?
I'm pretty good, man. I can fry you up some French fries, no problem.
Put that hot dog on the roller.
We got a little bit more than that, right? More than that.
Yeah, I
now,
know you
but-
got a very good menu.
Yeah.
And I've had several of that stuff. Like I said, every year we come up, I'm going to Molly Pitcher.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So that area is kind of growing, and we were talking. One tap room have left, Bird's Nest. Did I say it right?
Bird's
Yeah.
Nest,
Yeah.
yes.
One's getting ready to open. They were supposed to be open in November.
Back porch.
And I think that's kind of who pushed you to contact
You
me.
you guys. I think we actually listened.
Actually-
That was before you did the video stuff. I think we listened to them
Yeah.
We had them on back in
a while ago, August or
And-
something.
August, I think it was.
You did it with Jem's Farm too, right?
Yep, Michael and Sharon.
Yeah.
So, and then you have Desperate Times up there, and oh shit, just went out of my head.
Market Cross.
Market
Cross. It just went poof. Anything else coming up in that area that you know of? Because it's a booming area,
Oh, we have Hook and Flask Distillery as well.
right?
They're doing some real good stuff. And then I understand there's another distillery.
Hook and Flash right there.
Yeah. Yeah, great guys too. Super nice dudes. There's another distillery I understand is opening up somewhere on Hanover Street, right? Or I don't know. There's an article about it that called it like a fermentorium or fermentary, something like that. But now I understand it's a distillery. I don't know if they're making sauerkraut or if they're making whiskey or what. I have no idea. I really don't know. Anything else in town? I don't think there's too much by way of alcohol going on.
Have you ever ate at the Whiskey Rebellion?
I've never eaten there. No, I heard it's fantastic. Though.
Oh man,
I ate there once. The ribeye was really
Wagyu or Wagyu, however you want to say it.
Yeah,
It is a mouth-watering steak. It's not cheap.
yeah.
It's not an everyday affair, of course, unless you're Donald Trump or Elon Musk or something like
Or
that.
Kevin Gladys.
But if you get a chance, I definitely go there. And so, now, do you have a tap in there at all, or do they have one of your taps?
We did before, but I feel like as soon as we went with distribution, that we weren't self-distributing. A lot of the locals
Pulled out.
pulled out, and it didn't help that we opened a restaurant.
Oh yeah, you're kind
That
of
did-
there looking at that competition.
Yeah, so a lot
That's
of the
bullshit.
So as soon as that happened too, a lot of that stuff kind of
That's
went.
bullshit.
Eh,
We're all in the same game, man.
I guess so. I don't know, man.
But yeah, Carlisle's a pretty good place, and
Yeah, it's a cool town.
It is a cool town. A lot of history. Make sure you get up there and see these guys, and take a walk around the old cemetery right down the other side of the alley from. So it's interesting. I wouldn't go at night. I wouldn't go over there at night. I'd be a little half afraid. So what is our third beer here, gentlemen?
This is our Independence IPA.
We're going from a New England to a West Coast.
Yeah, this is a classic all C hop West Coast IPA.
All right. Tell us a little bit about it, Greg. Is this your recipe, or whose recipe is this one?
Nah, Billy was definitely mine. This one was.
This was one of the original.
Yep.
So this is an OG.
This was the original IPA that we made for Molly Pitcher.
All
I
right.
think most I have in this is like waterproof.
You don't know what the parts per million and all that kind of stuff is?
No.
Okay. It's just water.
Watch our last episode. You get an
Oh, no,
education.
he did. They did. They did watch it. And they said don't expect that from us.
No, I go into my Brewing Water profile Excel spread, and then
So when you're saying you come up with a spreadsheet.
it's a already thing. It's Brewing Water.
Okay.
It's a downloadable thing online.
Because I'm
And-
looking because with this Bruzilla, we're going to step our game up from kits to all grain. And I've heard Brewmaster or Beermeister or something like that.
Beersmith.
Beersmith is one.
That's a
We
great
still
one too.
use that too.
It's
That's-
a real easy way to like log everything as well. Every recipe we do is right there. Need to ever check back for anything. Couple mouse clicks, boom, it's right there for us.
and I'll
ready to
make
go.
sure that the couple that I've done with kits without these guys that I fucked up, that they don't get repeated. So this is Independence, a West Coast IPA, and this was one of the OGs.
Original. Yep.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. If you don't like bitter, might not be one for you.
Yeah. This is extra piney dank.
It is dank. I'm getting that. It's actually not overbearing.
It's balanced nicely.
It is a balance. You could definitely tell it's a little bit harsher and hoppier than but overall, it's not bad. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and drink a 6-pack of it, but I'd buy and drink that.
Yeah, I can't drink a 6-pack.
So yeah, I'm
Should be
taking
can.
I'm taking it, Tim. You like more of the IPA styles and the pale ales.
Yeah.
So this is more up your flavor profile.
Yeah. I'm not such a big fan of the hazy stuff. I really like something that like finishes kind of sharp and clean.
Like you're chewing on a cud.
Sure. But yeah, this is a great one. I think it's what I think of when I think of West Coast. You know, back in the day, the Stones and the Sierra Nevadas and all that kind of stuff, where we were getting all that crammed down our throats, and it was like, oh, that's a little too much. And now it's like this is
actually a well balanced. Now I could see me drinking this. I know Dave's not going to come over to my fridge and grab it out of there, but
I'm just appreciative that the size of the glass.
and you notice my glasses are different today.
Yeah, we noticed that. This is you just wanted to be different today, or
I wanted to be an ass, and no,
well, you didn't need a glass to let everybody know that.
No, my staff for Christmas got me a flight and glasses with monograms. I thought I'd use them tonight.
Yeah, I like the paddle. It looks pretty nice.
It says connoisseur. I wouldn't necessarily. I'm a connoisseur. I'm an amateur that likes to drink beer.
you put enough stuff on Untappd, you become a connoisseur. Then I think
It's funny. I've been at this a little over 2 years on Untappd, and we kind of have a little joke. And right around the holidays, I was getting close to 1,000 check-ins. Shit, I got to come out get one of my special beers, and we'll do the. I go to check a beer in, and I'm like, oh shit, I missed it. There went that big shaboo. But we use Untappd, and it's just a personal log for us. That's all it is.
I think that's what it was made for. Not to bash people and
I'm not bashing
it's-
anybody.
I use it as a personal log. I prefer to do that, and I don't like to bash anybody. And the main thing is so that if you find yourself in a distillery, or if you find yourself inside a distributors, you can look the beer up, and you can say, oh, did I try this? And you can actually look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say, oh, yeah, it was a IPA.
Well, we're not going to go back over that Bruges, Belgium from Belgium.
Oh, what was it? Duchesse.
Oh God,
The cherry.
that was one of our worst ones.
Yeah. And I bought it.
It was supposed to be a chocolate cordial.
Yeah. Chocolate Duchesse. Yeah. From Belgium.
Pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. I bought.
That was our lowest rating, and we gave it a 2.
No,
I gave it a 2.25.
It wasn't the
how you really
lowest. Wasn't
feel.
that one that Kevin?
Oh, Kevin
Kevin
brought
brought
home
that one. Yeah.
from-
That was the lowest.
From Florida Lease, it was a sour.
Yeah.
Now, what happened in the crowler between New York and here? It may have gotten spoiled, but he said it was so good because he rated it pretty high at Florida Lease in New York, in Watkins Glen area. But by the time we drank it
Yeah.
on one of our beer nights, oh God. It
No, it was pretty bad.
You ever get that feeling where you open up the fridge, it's like, oh, what's smelling in there? That's about when we opened this can. What is that?
Oh,
Sauerkraut.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
It was almost like a sauerkraut.
It was pretty bad. And
gross.
I think Ben even didn't like it.
No, he didn't like it.
He
but
didn't like it. He liked
He
liked
liked that chocolate
The
cordial.
chocolate cordial. He liked that. He took because I said, "You want the extra bottles?" And he said, "Sure, I'll take them."
I think he was already drunk.
So
He already-
we got a nice place in Carlisle too, Cafe Bruges, that has
Yes.
Belgian beer and
Yes.
Belgian food, and it is a fantastic place.
So my wife, we've been there once or twice before, but this last 2 times, I always I was at Molly Pitcher. We were at Market Cross. We didn't make it there. But they have really good food, and they got true Belgian-style beers.
Yep.
Like,
You're not
straight-
getting off-the-wall craft stuff. It's style, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Kevin, who is our third partner in this, he's been doing a lot of traveling with his company, and he's been overseas, and they don't have this craft stuff. It's true to style. It is what it is.
Yeah.
This brewer's making an English style whatever. This brewer, and it's a matter of what the water or whatever malt they're using, but it's the style. They don't venture from it. They don't do what us Americans do. That's why we revolted back in the 1700s. Did I just say that on air too?
Yeah, you did.
It is tax season. And I've made that joke with my accountant, like, hey, just send this in and send this in. I'm like, I'm sending an IOU. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm not a IOU. God save the queen. We revolted against taxes in the 1700s. That's why we revolted. We didn't like the taxes being installed on us. And you guys know all about that. You got a business owner. You know all about taxes.
Yeah.
Insurance, taxes, insurance. So expansion wise, is there a time frame on this that you guys are talking about, or it's not really listed yet?
I mean, this is probably the first time that like the masses have heard about this.
So we're going to be the
thing.
first to launch this out and say Molly Pitcher is expanding.
Yeah, we like to say we're going home
Okay.
because we're going back to where we originally were, and we're gonna have a big build out by an actual construction company this time, and not just us, building walls and slapping paint on it ourselves.
So that's awesome. I think it's the full circle coming back around.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think inside as a business owner, that would be just so much more gratifying.
There's something lost about being a brewery and not seeing a brewery. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like
Right.
I have a restaurant uptown and a brewery.
You mean like South County where you walk in, you see this big, gorgeous facility? You haven't seen
I've
it?
seen the
been there,
pictures.
Oh, yeah, it's a facility and a half. I wouldn't want the bills to that. It's gorgeous, but I wouldn't want the bill. But I think it's great, and what you guys are doing. So one thing, I was up there, like I said, I bring my wife up there for our birthday weekend in March. And we were down at the old cemetery, and I saw your garage door up about that far. I'm banging on the door. Trying to see if somebody's in there that's going to answer the door so I can talk to you about bringing you on this podcast. So which one of you guys were in there and you didn't fucking answer the door?
I don't know. In March, it might have been both of us in there. Just look.
I know you were there because I looked under the door. I saw feet walking back and forth.
Hey, Greg, you know that guy? Nah, me neither. Don't.
I didn't think anybody was going to answer the door, but I'm sitting there banging on it. I'm banging on your door.
Which is strange because most times we tell people if the garage door's up, come on in.
I could have slid underneath it, but I probably would have got shot.
Nah, no guns in.
Squash the bug. That's what it would have done.
Yeah, my wife wanted to walk around the cemetery, and I was like, okay. Then I saw the garage door. I'm like, I'm stopping over here a minute. She goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to see if somebody's going to answer the freaking door.
Yeah, I'm surprised if we didn't.
Anyways,
That's all right.
usually we
Maybe we knew it was a guy asking us to do a podcast.
It could have very well been.
We thought, get the fuck out of there.
Because I was at the tap room before that, so they probably warned you I was coming your
They
way.
warned us. Yeah, there's a guy coming knock on your door. Pretend like you're not there.
But you know what? It all worked out. We got you sitting here,
There we
and
go.
it's been a good time. Dave, any last words here?
No, I'm fine. I mean, it's been fun. And
he's just waiting on that last beer.
Yeah,
that?
he's waiting to hoard it too.
What's that?
Oh, what?
What?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm looking over here at this beer. But yeah, I'm just I'm still trying to recover.
The West Coast.
The last IPA that I had.
I really should have asked you. I really should have asked you what kind of stuff you wanted to drink.
No.
I could have brought my mild or stout.
No.
all
Because
kinds.
we want to taste and sample
What you bring?
what you bring, what your beer is this, because of the thing that if you do that and then it becomes our podcast. It becomes our opinion of it, and we want
Well, we'd have been fine if you would have like gushed over us a little more or something. You know what I mean?
All right, so I'm going to have to go back and change all my fucking ratings for Molly Pitcher to 5 O's. Where they're not going to read them anyhow.
Can you go any higher than that by any chance?
Nah, five's it.
Actually, this IPA was really good. I did enjoy this one. Okay.
Well, good. You got a whole crowler over there to drink.
No, I don't. Anyway, the thing, like you had explained, that this was your preferred IPA because it has a little bit more bite to it, and I think that the problem is like I was telling the guys before, that I've had IPAs before, and I think I've had bad IPAs. That kind of like turned me on, but slowly I'm beginning to drink more and more IPAs and think, it's not too bad.
That's because you're doing this with us.
I can enjoy this. Yeah.
Well, you can't, and I think people have also just like jammed a bunch of shit into them.
Yeah.
You can't jam a bunch of shit into it and it come out a proper beer.
Right.
You have to like really stop and think about the malts you're using and how that's going to actually impact the perception of the hops whenever you're using them. Depends on how long you boil the hops. If you don't boil the hop, how big of a dry hop you have. Right. There's a lot that goes into it that people just think, maybe years ago, I don't know if it's still prominent now, but you just jam a bunch of hops into a beer and that'd be an IPA and everybody was, happy about it. I don't think that time is over, as far as I'm concerned. You have to be more cognizant about what you're doing with each product in order to get the wider array of people to drink it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're a guy that doesn't like IPAs, but now you had the Billy Hayes and you're like, hey, that's pretty good and I could have that again. So that's a little stepping stone to even more IPAs.
Yeah. And that's your ultimate goal as a brewer and a business owner.
Yeah.
Each beer is a stepping stone.
Yeah. And not everybody's going to like the product right off the back, but maybe like you said, hey, I can go get another one of them. Next thing you know, it's going to lead them. And then Dave's buying a case.
Maybe. Maybe. What do you think of sours? Let me ask you that.
I like sours.
You like sours?
Yeah. I prefer the lactose sours over the Brett sours.
Okay.
Myself.
Yes.
Like lactose sours are like just like the nice punchy tart ones. Brett ones are kind of sometimes taste like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I don't like any of the sours that Brett gives me. So I can understand that.
But yeah, we do them, but we do kettle sours. So we sour in our boil kettle.
Right.
And then we boil all that off so it doesn't get into our tanks and lines and stuff like that. So we don't do true souring by any means. Kettle sours.
And we found out that the yeast has a lot the certain yeast strains are what makes it really sour.
Not how we do it.
Not how you do it.
No. We introduce a lactobacillus into the boil kettle.
Okay.
So that way any of that, and the lacto doesn't transfer into the fermenters. Because then that could make every beer comes out of that fermenter sour.
Yeah,
again,
you don't want that.
It's really hard to get that stuff out of rubber grommets and things like that. So
Yeah, because everything in plastic fermenters, plastic buckets, all that stuff, like as a home brewer, holds in a lot of flavors that you don't want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a lacto infection in your home brew setup, you might as well get rid of it and get all new shit.
Or just turn it into a sour set.
Yeah.
Just keep that for sours and get a new one for clean ones.
When I got into this with the kit, when I was reading before we did our first beer, clean, sanitize, sanitize. Just make sure it's all clean and sanitized.
Yep.
And it's a pretty easy process.
Yeah.
How some people are putting out beers that aren't clean and sanitized, I don't understand. It's not hard stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I fucked a couple up.
On a homebrew scale, it's much easier to like.
But when you're
have
doing a
infection
7-barrel
show.
screw up, that's a lot of beer to throw away.
Oh,
That's a
God.
lot of beer to
Yes.
throw away. Yeah.
A lot of time. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can't even give that shit away.
I would never. That tarnishes that Molly Pitcher name. That would never happen. If it's not good enough for me and him, it's going down the drain.
Have you ever dumped batches?
We dumped 2 in the life of the business.
Wow.
Just 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
The first one that we did, I believe I was on my honeymoon. I didn't have part of the brew, and it was like when the first time the system was used. bunch of grain went over to the boil kettle, got boiled off, was terrible. Came back from honeymoon, sampled it. Nope, right down the drain. The other one we did, we took stuff that was in a barrel,
I hopped it.
put it back into a fermenter to dry hop, and then didn't clean that fermenter properly. I mean, the one that came out of the barrels is perfectly fine.
Yes.
Next batch we put into it, it went right down.
It happens.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm pretty happy only twice in
That's pretty
almost
good.
10 years. So
Yeah. So speaking of, you're married,
I'm married.
kids,
I have 2 little girls.
they're playing soccer, I'm assuming.
Tried
No, not their forte.
gymnastics. It's
Oh, okay.
gymnastics stuff.
That's great because I think gymnastics is a great sport to get into.
Yeah.
So far, so good with that. They're so interested. So
Yeah, you never.
What about dance?
I think we're gonna try to get them into that too. 'cause
Yeah,
they're
I
all-
have a couple of nieces that are in dance and gymnastics. They just love dance.
yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I
it's-
think we're gonna try to do that whenever I don't even know where to look for that.
They-
to be honest with you,
They keep
but-
you busy enough.
Yeah. Oh, they
Yeah.
certainly do. That's why
Yeah.
our sheet we gave you. Probably thought this is the dullest guy I've ever had on here. I
No,
don't-
man.
It's either at work or at home. That's
Well,
pretty
the-
much how life is.
Yeah, the gymnastics has got you rolling. I'm sure it is
Yep.
because that's just a lot.
Yeah.
That's
Greg,
a-
what about you?
Married with a wife and 1 kid.
1 kid, boy,
Yep.
girl,
Boy.
boy.
Yep.
How
I'm
old?
playing golf,
10.
right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He's playing
He's
golf.
playing golf.
I didn't see. I'm slow.
Yes.
Slow. The
Well-
Rain Man.
I'll put some. Oh my!
My mom always says. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty cool. And that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So you don't want to spend too much time at the brewery or business. You need to have family time. But tell us once again where you guys are at physically in
What?
Carlisle.
139 West High Street in Carlisle is our tap room. That's where you're going to want to go.
That's where the food's at. That's where the beer's
That's
at.
where the beer's at. If you come down to South Street, you knock on the door, we might not answer, as Brett told you earlier.
Even if the garage door is partially up, there you just might not.
That's pretty cool. Gentlemen, this has been so fun. I'm glad we finally got to get you guys here and sit down. Had a great time tasting your beer, getting to know you a little bit better. So now the next time I'm up there, maybe you'll open up the damn garage door. I can't wait to see what you guys do with the expansion of the business. And hopefully that goes well in the future, and best of luck with everything, that you continue to grow, continue to make great product and promote what you guys are doing. What is our last beer going to be?
This is our peanut butter porter.
Peanut butter porter.
Pretty much the beer that got us out of the gates.
This is the OG of the OGs.
This is, one of the 5 or so original recipes that we've had, and it's still basically the same thing. And it was something that got us all rolling.
And
got
you
some
got to
cash
keep it.
flowing,
You
and
got to keep it going.
got to
right?
keep it going.
So before we toast this out here with the peanut butter porter, you can find us all on your social media platforms at Central PA Pour. Look us up at the YouTube, and please give us a subscribe. Don't forget to check out our Mix of 6 live with Ben every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And gentlemen, he'll be reaching out sometime in the future to get you on there. It's just like a couple minutes to give us some time on a Wednesday night to see how you're doing. We got some other content we've been working on that's coming up in the future, and look for that. Give us an email, centralpaport@gmail.com. Make sure you get out and visit Molly Pitcher in Carlisle. This has been fun. Molly Pitcher is one of the good ones out there. So if you're out there, let's raise a glass, whatever you have in it, and let's cheers one with Molly Pitcher Brewing and the CPP, and let's all be bonded by beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.